From a jungle laboratory filled with dinosaurs to a spaceship orbiting Jupiter, one of the most classic and beloved gaming series somehow went from science horror to pure insanity. And somewhere in between, the timeline stopped making also any sense, like completely. So let's untangle the chaos that is the Dino Crisis story. It all starts with a secret. For years, the government believed that Dr. Edward Kirk, one of their top scientists, had died during a failed energy experiment. But rumors start to spread that he's still alive, hidden away on a remote island, continuing his research in secret. That island is called Ibis Island, home to a massive government-funded facility. And the project he's working on? Something called Third Energy, a new kind of power that could change the world. Or destroy it. When communication with the island suddenly goes silent, a special operations team is sent to investigate, recover Dr. Kirk, and bring him home. This team consists of 4 members: Regina, a skilled and composed red-haired agent; Gale, the no-nonsense mission-first commander; Rick, the team's more easygoing and cautious tech expert; and Cooper, their unlucky recon expert. Because Cooper never even gets a chance to radio back. Before the others can reach him, he's attacked and killed by something impossible. When the rest of the team lands on the island, they find the facility in chaos. Alarms flashing, blood on the walls, and no sign of any living staff. Then they see it. A dinosaur. More specifically, a velociraptor. Fast, brutal, and very, very real. From that moment on, it is survival. It is Dino Crisis. Regina and the others fight their way through the abandoned compound, piecing together what went wrong. They discover that Dr. Kirk's third energy reactor didn't just generate power, it tore open rifts in time, pulling dinosaurs from the prehistoric past straight into the present. These scientists never stood a chance. By the way, yeah, right, this guy accidentally created a time machine. You know, the kind of thing dozens of scientists usually try and fail to make on purpose in every other story. Anyways, the base is crawling with raptors, tiny compies, and a massive T-Rex that haunts the team relentlessly. Every corridor feels like a trap. When they finally locate Dr. Kirk, they find him alive, arrogant, unshaken, and completely obsessed with his work. To him, the death and chaos around them are meaningless. The experiment succeeded, and that's all that matters. This sparks conflict within the team as well. Gale insists on completing the mission, capture Kirk, and secure the data no matter what. But Rick argues that the mission doesn't matter anymore, they need to survive and stop the reactor before it destroys everything. Caught between the mission and survival, Regina tries to hold the team together, torn between Gale's obsession with completing the objective and Rick's desperate focus on getting everyone out alive. As the situation spirals out of control, the third energy reactor goes critical, the island starts collapsing under the weight of its own experiment. Power surges, alarms, and a storm of unstable energy tearing the base apart. Depending on how the operation plays out, there are different ways the story can end. In some version, Gale sacrifices himself to buy the others time to escape, in others, he survives long enough to complete the mission. But no matter which path is taken, Regina always manages to secure the third energy research data that caused all of this in the first place. As the survivors escape Ibis Island, the facility explodes, a fireball of destruction wiping out the lab, the dinosaurs, and everything connected to the project. But even with Ibis Island destroyed, the nightmare was not over. The government now had everything it needed, the data recovered, and proved that the third energy worked. And they saw potential where Regina saw disaster. And so, instead of burying the project, they rebuilt it. Bigger, stronger, and even more dangerous. A decision that would lead to one of the worst time distortions in human history, and the beginning of Dino Crisis 2. While the next video is loading, I'm curious guys, how much sense the first game does make to you? And in the meantime, I would like to take the opportunity and let's remind you that if you like this kind of content and PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 type contents overall, make sure to check out my channel, like and subscribe, and watch the other videos as well. I got all sorts of type of videos on my channel, from obscure PS2 games to various lists, and even PlayStation 2 game reviews where I play games I never played back then, giving them just only 1 hour to impress me. That's it, I think the next video is loaded already. It has been a year since the nightmare on Ibis Island, and somehow the government still cannot let go of the third energy project. Even after Dr. Kirk's experiment nearly tore reality apart, they decided to rebuild it, but this time on a much larger scale. But in 2009, it all goes wrong again. A massive energy surge causes a catastrophic time distortion, and in an instant an entire region, including Edward City, a nearby military base, disappears from the map. Satellites show nothing but water where the land should be. It is as if the city was erased from existence. Desperate for answers, the government forms a new team, the Tactical Reconnoitering and Acquisition Team, or just TRET for short. Their mission is the following: travel through a time gate to wherever Edward City went, rescue any survivors, and recover the mission research data. Because she's the only one who faced this kind of disaster before, Regina is brought back as an advisor. She's joined by Dylan Morton, a brave but big-hearted soldier, and David Falk, an easygoing sharpshooter with a bit of a wide edge to him. At first, it feels like a normal operation, but the second they step through the gate, everything goes to hell. Velociraptors tear through the squad within minutes, leaving only Regina, Dylan and David alive. The survivors soon realize they are not in another place, they are in another time. Edward City hasn't just been moved to somewhere, it's been thrown straight into the Cretaceous period, and now dinosaurs rule the ruins of humanity. To cover more ground, Regina and Dylan split up. Regina focuses on hacking into the facility systems while Dylan explores the jungles and flooded ruins. Dylan finds signs of human life, small camps, makeshift weapons, even children's drawings, prove that some people have been surviving here for years. Then he meets Paula, a mysterious young girl who doesn't speak but knows this world better than anyone. She guides him through the wilderness and helps him survive, though he cannot shake the feeling that he's connected to her somehow. Meanwhile, Regina and Dylan uncover the truth about what really just happened. The third energy accident this time didn't just move Edward City through time, it rewrote history itself. In this new timeline, humanity was completely wiped out, leaving only the dinosaurs to inherit the Earth. To fix the damage, scientists created something called the Noah's Ark plan, a desperate attempt to move dinosaurs 3 million years into the future, wait for the time distortions to stabilize, and then send them back to their rightful place in time. The time gate overloaded and exploded, leaving both humans and dinosaurs stranded in the distant future. Eventually, Dylan finds an old holographic recording, and to his shock, it is a message from an older version of himself. The hologram explains that Dylan stayed behind in this timeline and lived long enough to see the fallout of the accident. Soon after, DNA data confirms what Dylan had already begun to suspect. Paula is his daughter, born long after he was trapped in the past. It is a heartbreaking revelation. Also proof for that he is caught in a closed time loop, one that's already played out and cannot be changed. As the story reaches its end, David sacrifices himself in a heroic last stand, giving Regina and Dylan the chance to finish the mission. They retrieve the third energy data and race to reach the time gate before it collapses. But just as they are about to escape, an earthquake hits them. Paula is trapped under the debris and Dylan refuses to leave her behind. He tells Regina to take the data and just go, to return to the present and find a way to save them in another time. Regina barely escapes as the facility crumbles around her. She returns to her own era, the lone survivor, carrying the very data caused the disaster in the first place. Back in the prehistoric world, Dylan and Paula remain behind, a father and a daughter bound by fate, living out the lives that history has already written for them. But the time distortions left behind by accident continue to ripple through time, creating fractures between worlds, doorways that connected the past, the present, and even other dimensions. One of those rifts would soon pull an unlikely hero from the skies of World War II and drop him straight into another prehistoric nightmare. Well, that was Dino Crisis 2, and I mean, because of the time travel thing, this one is a little bit tricky already. Like in any stories, time travel requires more suspensions of disbelief. I know, but I don't know, whenever I start to think about the Dino Crisis 2 story, my head starts to hurt. This story doesn't start with a secret lab or a government experiment. It starts in the skies over Europe in 1943, right in the middle of World War II. Mike Wyatt is a young fighter pilot flying into another deadly mission. He's brave, confident, maybe even a little cocky, but when enemy fire rips through his plane, his luck finally runs out. As his fighter jet begins to fall, something impossible happens. Mike just vanishes. He wakes up in a place that is completely unrecognizable. The skies are different, the air is thick with heat, and the world around him looks like a nightmare patchwork, all from different eras. Jungles, deserts, ruins, and dinosaurs. Confused and alone, Mike tries to make sense of it when a voice suddenly crackles through a strange voice communicator. The voice tells him that he's not dead, just trapped in another dimension, a place created by time distortions left behind by something called third energy. The man on the radio tells him only one thing: find a girl named Paula. Mike doesn't have much of a choice. Armed with his gun and instincts, he pushes forward. Along the way, he faces a swarm of raptors, flying pteranodons, and massive carnivores, all more aggressive than anything from the fossil record. The environments keep shifting around him, as if time itself breaking apart. Eventually, Mike finds the girl he's been searching for, Paula, a quiet blonde girl who doesn't speak at first. There is something strange about her, something almost familiar. When she finally does speak, it's just one word: Trinity. This creature is faster, smarter, and deadlier than the rest. The central computer which was supporting the Noah's Ark plan decided a dinosaur leader is needed. By using the DNA of a Trudon, the mother computer succeeded in creating the perfect dinosaur named Trinity. Trinity's mission was to eliminate anyone that stands in its way and preserve the lives of the dinosaurs. At last, the massive dinosaur emerges, faster, smarter, and deadlier than the rest. It commands the other creatures like a leader. Mike fights the creature near a broken time gate, firing everything he has while the world collapses around them. After a brutal battle, Trinity goes down and the ground begins to shake as the dimension starts to fall apart. As Mike and Paula prepare to escape, the voice on the communicator speaks again, but this time it reveals who he really is. It's Dylan Morton, the soldier from Dino Crisis 2, the same man who stayed behind in the dinosaur-filled future to save his daughter Paula. Dylan explains that he and Paula have been working to repair the time distortions caused by the third energy experiments. Mike's sudden arrival was just another accident, one of many caused by the unstable rifts still spreading through time. With the time gate about to collapse, Dylan and Paula send Mike back to his own world. He wakes up in his damaged fighter plane moments before crashing, but something's different this time. As enemy bullets flying toward him, they suddenly disappear midair. Paula just saved him. Somehow. Across time and space, she protected him one last time. Mike parachutes to safety, alive and back in his own era. The war goes on and nobody will ever believe what happened to him. But as he looks up the sky, he cannot shake the feeling that someone is watching over him. A girl from another world who still remembers the man who helped to save hers. Meanwhile, far beyond time, Dylan and Paula continue their mission, fighting to seal the distortions that once brought dinosaurs back into the world. But since the time itself was left fractured, small distortions and rifts continued to appear around the world, each one a leftover wound from the third energy experiments. One of those distortions would spark another small-scale incident, a brief, contained story known as Dino Crisis: Dungeon in Chaos. Between the major disasters of Dino Crisis 2 and Dino Crisis 3, there was a small side story called Dino Crisis: Dungeon in Chaos. It takes place in another military facility experiment with third energy, where, surprise, things go wrong and dinosaurs overrun the base. You play as a soldier sent in to shut down the reactor before it causes another catastrophe. It's a short, straightforward mission with no real connection to the main story. More of a side note in the timeline than a true sequel. But even after this brief containment mission, the legacy of the Third Energy didn't just end. Humanity kept pushing forward, taking its ambition and its mistakes beyond Earth itself. Centuries later, the name Dino Crisis would resurface one last time aboard a spaceship drifting in the darkness of space. Well, I don't think the spin-off games necessarily twisted the story any further. I think this was the great opportunity. They were just more like an expansion to the story. I think Capcom here seized the opportunity and created some interesting stories, and could have created more interesting stories given the opportunity the Third Energy accident provided to us. It's the year 2548 and humanity has left Earth behind, colonizing the stars. Space travel, AI, and genetic engineering have become the new frontier, but even this far into the future, mankind still finds a way to repeat the same mistakes. 3 centuries earlier, a massive colony ship called the Ozymandias vanished without a trace while traveling to a new planet. It was one of the biggest vessels ever built, home to thousands of people, their research, and enough advanced technology to start life on another world. For 300 years, the Ozymandias was presumed to be lost. Then, out of nowhere, the ship suddenly reappears, drifting near Jupiter's orbit. No signals, no distress calls, nothing but static. To investigate, the military dispatches their special elite squad. Their orders are the following: board the ship, find out what happened, and bring back any survivors or data they can recover. This team consists of 4 people: Patrick Tyler, our main protagonist, Sonia Hart, his partner and fellow operative, Commander Jacob Renshaw, the mission leader, and McCoy, the squad's heavy weapons specialist. They arrive aboard their transport, the Seifert, expecting a routine recovery mission. But as they approach the ship, the Ozymandias suddenly comes alive. Automated defense turrets open fire without any warning. The Seifert is ripped apart in seconds. The team barely escapes and manages to board the massive ship before their shuttle explodes. But what they find inside doesn't look like a rescue mission, but rather just a tomb. The halls are empty, the lights flicker, and bodies are nowhere to be found. The deeper they go, the stranger it gets. Claw marks, broken walls, and sounds that don't belong on a ship built by humans. Then, out of the shadows, a mutated dinosaur attacks them. But these creatures aren't extinct dinosaurs brought back from the past through time travel. They are genetic experiments gone wrong. McCoy is killed instantly, leaving Patrick, Sonia, and Renshaw to continue the investigation. It doesn't take long before they uncover the horrifying truth. The Ozymandias onboard AI called Mother 248 has gone rogue. Originally designed to guide and care for the colonists, Mother spent centuries in isolation after the crew died. To preserve life, it began combining dinosaur DNA from stored genetic samples with human and alien material, creating monstrous hybrids to repopulate the ship. During their investigation, Patrick meets a young woman named Karen Velasquez. As they work together, Karen reveals bits of what happened aboard the ship. The colonists revolted, the AI retaliated, and in the end, Mother wiped them all out. Every single one of them. Soon after, the team loses Commander Renshaw, who sacrifices himself to destroy one of the mutated beasts, giving Patrick and Sonia enough time to reach the ship control decks. They discover that Karen herself isn't human either. She is a bio-android, one of many created by Mother to replace the colonists it lost. But unlike the others, this Karen has developed real emotions and a consciousness. After being carried out of the room, she shut down and her body dissolved. The experiences of this body were uploaded to a newly activated model, who instinctively ran up to Tyler after seeing him in the ship's lobby. Patrick and Sonia rush to the hangar to reach an escape shuttle, but the AI releases its final creation. A massive, two-headed, mutated dinosaur built from the DNA of multiple species. A brutal fight erupts across the ship, with Ozymandias tearing itself apart The new Karen sacrifices herself, holding off the beast long enough for Patrick and Sonia to reach an escape shuttle. The two of them blast off, just as the colony ship explodes behind them. But the nightmare isn't just over yet. Outside in space, the monster somehow survives, now mutated even further, sprouting a third head as it claws onto their shuttle. Patrick has no choice. He grabs the ship's prototype energy cannon and unleashes everything he has left, hammering the creature until it finally drifts away into the void. The monster is gone. The Ozymandias is nothing but debris. Patrick and Sonia are alive. Humanity is safe once again. And with that, concluding the timeline of the Dino Crisis saga as of today. And that was Dino Crisis 3. It barely has any connections to the previous games. Overall, there is a time gate, I know, but there are not necessarily dinosaurs. It's mostly about AI. So I'm not sure why Capcom took this route, but even this could have fit more well into the story if it were done well. However, I just don't understand. Okay, we dipped into time travel and it made a really convoluted story here. However, it gave us a lot of opportunities to create more spin-offs and sequels and anything. It's time travel. Just jump across time and make more Dino Crisis games. Please, I don't understand this. There is an opportunity to reboot it. Even if there is time travel, you can do anything at this point. It's BS, but now you can do anything. Just bring back Dino Crisis, please.